Now next thing, let's check out is some of the programs it can run. Well, I'll look at games because a lot of people like games. Fruit Ninja seems to be quite popular game around here. Fruit Ninja was originally for iPhone. As you can hear the sound, it's pretty loud and it's pretty clear. I'll turn it off so I can actually talk. Fruit Ninja was originally made for iPhone but then ported to Android. The Android port is not as good because it does not support multi-touch, although Meizu does support up to 10-finger multi-touch. So we'll just have a little quick play. Pretty smooth, as you can see, the animation. Pretty good. Yeah, no multi-touch thing, unfortunately, for this. But a bit of a shame, but apart from that, as you can see, it runs smoothly, which is pretty cool. So I'll now go get out and we can check out something else. Some of the applications that were originally designed for Android don't work perfectly. One of the such as Talking Tom. When you run it, after a few seconds, it will automatically quit itself. And yep, as you can see. So if you are getting a Meizu, don't expect that every application will work. Although most of them do work pretty fine. Well, you got MSN here, which is pretty good, so you can chat to people. Now let's check out their music player. Music is obviously another huge section on the Meizu. I'll just go in and let's have a quick look. I've only got a few songs on this because most of my stuff is stored on my second SD card. So we'll just try one. Sound quality is pretty decent, I think, for this.
Hello there, small girl, with insight to her life can't cite her favorite moment from last night. In spite, she'll still incite a food fight using nothing.
The music player is pretty similar to the M8 style. You can flip it left and right to show the lyrics as well as the album art, and you can also have these kind of animations, which is pretty cool. This is really similar to the M8, so nothing too special. Here you can have random shuffles, and this is just basically repeats, different types of repeats. Now here you got albums, sorted by artists, all the songs, and even custom playlists. So pretty decent. It's got most of all the functions where you'd see on a music player. This is a lot better than the default Android player. Music player. It looks a lot better and it works a lot better as well. If any of you guys have owned an original an Android device with the original music player, you'd find that it's pretty horrible. Now transferring music to this device is pretty simple. Basically you just plug it into your computer and load all the files into the music folder here. And well, this device will do all the syncing itself. So you don't need any special programs like iTunes or anything like that to upload music, which is pretty good. Now let's take a look at some of the pictures that I took a bit early on in the day in the galleries. I've only got a few. This picture is taken in a Meizu store in Chengdu. As you can see, the photo is pretty average. One of the disappointments about this phone is that I find that the camera is not too good, although it's 5 megapixels, but it doesn't pick up a lot of light. The lighting quality isn't too good on this phone. So yeah, if you're looking for a phone with a good camera, this probably isn't your best choice. But then again, for an average person who just uses a camera very occasionally, it's pretty decent. Okay, so now you can zoom in, pitch in, zoom in like this. Originally, if you look at some of the earlier reviews, they were saying that the camera was a bit floaty when you pinch and zoom, like the photo moved a little bit floaty, but after firmware upgrades, this seems to have solved the issue. So just a few photos, and it's pretty decent. You can have a landscape or portrait, so I'll just turn it to portrait, and it's now portrait. Pretty standard stuff, but pretty interesting. You can also make it play. You can put it into a movie. And you can also change settings. You can crop the image. You can rotate the image. Stuff like that. You can have a slideshow. Lots of cool stuff you can try to play around with. Alright, now I'll just go talk about the videos. The Meizu M9 is pretty good, as it has a 1 GHz processor as well as 512 RAM. So what this means is that it can actually do pretty decent video playback. Let's play something just to show you how good it is. This was recorded on HDTV. It's a last series of Big Bang Theory, I think. Resolution is 600 something by something else. And we'll see how it plays. It's an AVI format, so Meizu should definitely play this perfectly fine, as even the M8 can play it fine. So we'll just take a look. Playback's pretty easy, just click on it and it'll go in. As you can see, it loads up instantly, pretty good. One of the things that I found about the M9 is that the screen appears to be slightly darker than other phones I've used. Not sure why this is, but it just is. Also, I think the quality of the video you guys see, the screen color, is probably even a bit more out, but that's because my camera I use is an iPhone, and that camera is not too good either. But yeah, as you can see, this video plays fine. Everything is working, no blurry bits or anything like that. And then if I change to some other location, yeah, as you can see, when I change locations, it changes instantly, so no problems at all playing on the 600 something resolution. Alright, now let's try something a bit more intense. Although Meizu does not support RMVB formats out of the box, but if you download some kind of RMVB player, such as Rock Player, then you can play RMVB files. It's got both hardware decoding and you can obviously use software decoding. So the great thing about that is that with hardware decoding, you can play very, very high resolution videos. Now I'll just show you something that I've got. Here I've got Avatar. It's a Blu-ray edition, and it's a pretty big movie, 2 GB file. Resolution's about 1080p. And then if we play this is a real player format file. If we play this, let's see how the graphics looks. Now obviously this one takes a bit longer to find the right place to go to, because this video is a lot bigger than the other one. But as you can see, there's no lag or anything like that, so even at 1080p resolution playing Avatar, the graphics looks really good. The player that they were using there looked a lot like a Meizu player. Alright, so that's videos. And now one more game. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. Let's see how this plays. This is a pretty big game. It's got 200 megabytes. So overall, from the videos point of view, Meizu is pretty good with videos. It plays most formats, no need to convert it, and it plays them at really high resolutions as well. So this is definitely a good multimedia player. Now this game obviously takes a bit longer to load, and as you can see at the bottom bit here, it's black, so it's not entirely optimized for such a high resolution device like the Meizu, but it still works fine. As we load into the game, the screen resolution changes to suit the M9. This is obviously quite a big game, so it takes a bit longer to load in. As you can see, graphics is pretty decent. I think it's running slightly a bit more laggy, but everything still seems to work fine, which is pretty good. These are pretty large 3D games. If you can play these 3D games fine, then basically you can play everything else fine. Not too much of a problem here. Everything looks pretty good, decent. The Meizu M9 uses a Samsung processor, which is based on the Cortex A8 architecture, as well as it has a PowerVGR graphics processing unit, which is capable of supporting OpenGL standards, so it can render images pretty good. Yeah, so everything's pretty good. Anything else that I should check out that I haven't checked out yet? I think I've covered most parts that I should. Just one thing that one of you guys asked me whether there's overheating problems when using the M9. What I did realize was that sometimes when you were using the phone for quite a while, using networks such as using calling people, or you were using GPRS or 3G, this bit over here gets relatively warm. It's not hot there in the sense that you can't touch it, but it probably does reach about 30 or so degrees. Nothing too much, but it still feels warm. I'm pretty sure this is nothing you really need to be concerned about. Something else we can check out is the stores on Meizu. The Meizu has two stores. It's got the default Android market as well as the M store, which is the Meizu store. Android market, well, if you used an Android device, it's pretty much the same, so I won't go into much about it. But let's take a look at the M store. Currently on the M store, there's only a few applications at the moment, but hopefully as more developers get their hands on the M9, then they might start developing applications. Meizu has offered $10 million grants for developing programs. So if you're a developer, feel free to join developing applications for Meizu. I'm pretty sure you can just work with the Android SDK developing and it'll work fine. So these are the top applications. QQ, obviously pretty popular. Youku is like the Chinese version of YouTube. And we got a few more others here. Currently, I think most of these applications are targeted for Chinese market, nothing too much for foreigners. But yeah, hopefully this will change shortly. It's got it's got categories. This is the downloads you already downloaded, and over here you have new applications that's just been released. It's a pretty simple store at the moment. It's got all the basic functions that it needs, but it's definitely not as powerful as some of the other, it's not as powerful as the Android market. But the problem with Android market is that in China, a lot of the applications you can't download from Android market. Well, overall, I think this is about it. All I have to say. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you on forum.meizu.com and talk Meizu with me.